Yo, yo, what up, what up, what up, what up? Hey, good morning, everybody. ¿Cómo está usted? Whoa, what is going on over there? Guys, good morning. We got things to do, as they say. People to do, things to say. Let's get to work. Everybody good? Everybody getting a little saucy? All right, here I got to get my boys in this thing, and then we get to work here. Good. Happy CPI day, everybody. All right, all right, all right. Boom. All right. Good. I'm logged in and we are in the game. We are in the game, the big game. We are in such a big game, the biggest of the games. All right, Armando, you in? Arvin, what's going on? Johnny boy, let me see what you looking at here. Johnny, I'm not sure on this one though. Dal, I think you could probably add those. Yeah, why not? You a good man. I trust you. Dude, this thing is hot. This is hotter than the goose's caboose right here. Hey, good find. Yeah. Let's take a look. Esteban, ¿cómo está usted? Bien, bien. Hey, ¿cómo estás? As they say in France, man. ¿Cómo estás, my friend? Hey guys, don't be surprised if this market kind of rolls a little bit today. It already did a little bit. Um, it already did a little bit. Yeah, you can see right here, right? You got all sorts of goodies happening here. So, guys, we have CPI. Yeah, we got a little CPI action today. And I'm not saying I wouldn't be surprised to see us just red roll a little bit at the open because this is a most likely, we already knew the CPI was going to probably come in good. Dude, in the middle of the election, you think they're going to come in and, have some like nasty CPI? Probably not. Right. So, that's just it's just the nature of the game right now. We're in it, and don't be surprised to see a little bit of a fade in the cues. We're already getting the gap. Now, the interesting thing where I think we need to put our personal flavor, our love, right? Our love needs to be in this IWM if it dips off today. This is what the market's been waiting for, right? So hold on here. I'm in some trades here. Yeah.
Order film.
Whoa. Give me 1 second here to get out of this thing.
Order film. Order film.
All right. I think the Q's is rolling. So I'm just shorting on the future side. Red roll. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Look at this thing. Dude, futures trading is really fun, at least on CPI days. Not really on most days, but now we're kind of testing into some support here. But roll this, bitch. So, guys, the reason that the market is rolling right now, think about this. What happens? We're up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. Then you got a gap, right? Then you got 1, 2, 3, 4 days before that. So what essentially happens, right? What essentially happens is this is a sell the news event, right? This is a sell the news event in that, like, everybody already knew that the market was going to be probably the CPI was going to be good, right? Did its election season. They're not going to come in and be like, hey, the CPI there's so much inflation. Consumers are getting fucked, right? Like, nobody's going to say that right now. And so you've got this kind of, different aspect of things here. So, I'm anticipating a little bit of a fade off. I was hoping that we would have this happen when the market itself was, in regular hours. But what can you do? I'm covering my I'm covering my shorts here. Damn. Sell the news is always the play, guys. Now, on the other side of things, look at this. IWM is going out. So with CPI coming under expectation, what happens? Well, the interest rate sensitive names, should go today, right? And so what we have here is all sorts of fun and games, with this. Like, so I want to trade, if we get a pull on the IWM, I want to get in some IWM names. So the plan for today, if we can keep this up, is fade tech, big tech, and that's already happening right now. We might need to hit this double top in Tesla here, and then try to get in a piece of this IWM at some type of dip. I think that's like the kind of sweet spot that we can go into this thing. Holy shit. Dude, look at this stuff. This is nice, right? This is good action. This is what we want to see. Now you're kind of back into some supports here. And so, the market probably will bounce a little bit here. But I think this will be the key here. So just keep an eye on this for me while I'm chatting with you guys on these IWMs. Oh, man.
Order filled.
Whew. That's nice, man. Whoa. That's a good stuff right there.
Order filled. Order submitted.
There we go. Just put some stops in. All right. So now, guys, give me an idea. What are the IWM stocks that you would be wanting to watch, right? What are the interest rate sensitive names? Like, what are the names that are so sensitive to interest rate that they've been pummeled? They've been pummeled in this kind of go around in the market. Give me some ideas. Well, we have, right, I think solars, right? So we have a handful of solars here. So run, right? This is up 6%. We could maybe put this on the watch list. I think probably the best one for us to do would be FSLR, due to the location. Hey, Elise, how are you? So if you see the location on FSLR, you have this range break that's sitting up here. So you got two things. You got the 50-day moving average that's just like kind of nuzzling up there, right? And then if you look at more of an hourly chart, hey, Paul, how are you? If you're looking at an hourly chart here, right, this goes back to about, July 1st or so, right? You've been testing this kind of 234, 235 range. And so when you get something like that, now you got the tour de jour, right? You got the tour de jour on all of it. So this is good stuff right here. This is what we want to see. So I want to add a couple solars, right? We want to add probably some of these battery names, right? What are some battery names? So beyond FSLR, what else is there? Nova. Look at the breakout setting up on Nova. Woo! That's nice right there, huh? That right there is the tour de jour of setups here. Test. I think probably SPWR could go too, but chart-wise, it's a little bit more of, in India, they call it a rande, if you are not familiar with the term. In India, we call this a rande. And so, like, this one is a little bit more, what happened is when it started running with the meme stocks, it just ended up getting kind of getting destroyed, the chart. And beyond it just being a big, smelly, gelatinous piece of excrement. I think we got a little bit better ones. Let me build out a solar list here real quick. All right. So you got about 20. There's not that many solar companies around, but let's go in, see what we got. So you got Run, Sedig maybe. Ooh. You know what? Sedig is the most beaten down of the names. Now it trades a little bit rough. It trades a little bit rough, but that one's the most beaten down. You got Nova's got the breakout. ENPH is hot, but see how like it's running into the 200-day moving average? Arid on the bottom too. FSLR. Maxon. Dude, this thing's 20 cents now, huh? So I think what we do, we can add in Nova, probably Sedig has got some room, and we build it out, right? And then we've got, of course, FSLR. So we got kind of the big ones. Now, beyond that, right? Beyond that, we've got good. We've got some battery companies that we could do. You know, you got this Bloom Energy, maybe, right? EVGO has been nice chart here. You know, did about 8 million shares in volume. And you got a nice rounding pattern that's been coming here. So you've got, it's clean, it's crisp. It's got actually spots, right, that you're clearing out. You've broken over the 200-day moving average, right? You're starting to trend up the 9 EMA. So you got all this kind of fun stuff happening here. A little phantasmal. This is, dude, this has got a little something, something. A little something, something. Oh, this is nice. So let's add this one. What else we got? Let's see. Take a look at butt plug. Yeah. What's the other one besides butt plug? BLDP. All right. You got a handful of these kind of names out here. I think that, you know, the one that we might want to look at is this QR because it's got a PR out today anyways. QuantumScape, Volkswagen, power company enter license deal for solid state batteries. You know, you're basing out pretty nicely already here. Dude, why not? Why not? Man, you're just sitting here resting up a little bit anyways. This has got something. You know, remounted the 200-day moving average. You got 8 million shares. You know it, Robbie G. Yeah, you got a little Volkswagen news here. Enter non-exclusive license agreement. Volkswagen battery unit power company industrialized. Blah blah blah. Da 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 da. Why not? Why not? We're not animals here. I like it. Now, look, this is not going to trade like your normal small bomber type of small cap. It's a little bit thicker. It's got a 300 million share float. So it's not going to like probably move like your like, you know, small cap pump and dumps, for example. It's going to have a little bit different type of juice to it. But I think this has got, this is right up our alley for today. It fits the theme of what we're trying to do. Now, on the other side of things, like let's build out some other ones. What typically runs really good with IWM, right? UPST. Ooh, right. And you've got this big base over here. And so this one, like you can see here, you've just been kind of building out this base here. Let's see if this one kind of comes out of this range, which it's already starting to peek its head. You got room to the 200-day moving average on this, and you're kind of clearing out a little bit in the pre-pre. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. Let's add this one. Yeah, you could do a firm too. I think a firm's got the same kind of spot as, you know, same kind of spot as, it's the same segment as UPST, but not as good of a spot on, you know, the daily charts. You got, hey, Jen Bunny. Jen Bunny. What's your name, Jen Bunny? What you doing? Jen Bunny stuff. All right. Hold on here. Get rid of this fucking thing.
Order submitted.
Just raising up my stop losses. Man, that's nice too. CVNA. You've got a level here. This could go right off at the open, you know. You've got a level here, 136. Test, 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 test. I mean, I think that's probably 6 windows worthy. That's Jen Bunny worthy. Worthy of the Jen Bunny. What's up, darling? Hey, man. All right, let's add this CVNA. You can already see it's kind of building over the VWAP here. You may see it just come out of this range and get yourself in a little hoot nanny. Whew. Dude, I love so when you have a theme, it's great, right? Like, hey, you want to trade solar, you want to trade this, but when you can actually put it with the stock that's breaking levels of resistance, then you have something a lot better. For example, like, right, this firm is, up a lot, but it's like into this like just weird congestion zone, right? So it can act a little bit more tricky. So you want to just kind of be mindful of that. Now we're doing anything for love. Ooh.
Order canceled. Order submitted. Order filled.
Ooh. This is nice. Real nice. All right. So I like the CVNA. I want you to add it in. We may go right off at the open on this one. You can see here the IWM is still trending. It's up 2.1%.
Order filled.
That's hot. Whew. I wonder if we get all the way up here by the end of the day. First dip, we probably want to hit some calls on this, all right? So you probably dip off at the open, fill some of the gap. I think what we want to be doing is probably look at today's Thursday, right? So we can go into the calls for tomorrow if we dip off. And dude, we'll have ourselves a little hoot nanny on this. So let's add this bad boy to the watch list too. So it might just be, frankly, slightly easier, than trying to find always the perfect entry on a stock. Now, what else goes with this? Maybe you get a little SQ. And the reason I like this SQ is because, this is another one of these beaten down stocks. And it's just been basing here for like months and months and months and months. You've got since May, but you've got a spot right there that I think, if it's got a little bit of a target that it can get to. My worry on this one is that it doesn't have a big ATR anymore. It's just not like known as a big mover. Part of that reason, though, is because, right, it's been stuck inside a range. So when you have a stock that's starting to base out inside a range, the ATR gets really compressed. For those of you guys not familiar with ATR, right? ATR means average true range. If you are a day trader or even a short-term swing trader, ATR is one of the most important things that you can look at because you don't want to be in something that's just like a dead dog, right? Because you're going to be buying it and you're going to be sitting in it, and then you're wondering, dude, why am I not making cheddars on this thing, right? And so I like it. I think the ATR will expand if you can start to come out of this. So let's add this one. I got another one here, Snappy Chatty. This is going to be probably a swing trade if it breaks and holds this, I would say 1735. The reason that you don't really want to day trade this is that it just doesn't have the ATR to day trade either, right? So when you're looking at day trading, right, we need range. And that's why I always suggest to like new students, like people that are just getting into trading, don't sit there and just try to trade stocks because they're cheap. A lot of times that can fool you into being in dead stocks because, like, for example, this stock is cheap. So you may say, oh, I should trade this, instead of like Meta or something, right? But like Meta just has like a little bit more range, on a dollar basis. And so you just end up with like a little bit more juice. Samurai, where's the ATR on TOS? Let me find that out for you. I'll get that for you. Hold. You might have to make a script for it, but I'll get it for you, buddy. Give me like 10 minutes. I'll multitask. Good. Now, what else? Ooh, good list, Birdman. Let's take a look at Peloton. Peloton, if you like a little bit of a cheapie, you've got yourself a range break over here. Heck yeah. Like that could be something if the IWM holds. Good, good, good. PayPal, huh? I don't consider PayPal an IWM. I consider it more like a big bank. But the chart on this is nasty. You know what? And also, screw PayPal and the racket they got. I've been using PayPal for like 15 years since I've been running this business. They haven't changed that damn look of that website one time. It's always busted. I will say they got the best racket ever because you click a button on PayPal, they charge you like 3%. Then you click this other button, they charge you 3%. Then you click another button, they charge you 2%. Then you want to send yourself some money, they charge you 1%. Then they do like a faster withdrawal, they charge you 0.5%. This is a racket. There's all sorts of schemes out there, all sorts of schemes out there, but that's one of the best rackets I can think of. That and these people that sell bone broth. My wife here, because she just had a baby, she's always drinking this bone broth. And this shit fucking costs $10 per like jar. That's a racket. So there's PayPal and there's this bone broth stuff. The two big rackets out there, but the chart stinks too. So I just probably leave this thing alone. I can't do cannabis names. Let me see ZM. I think ZM's a dog too, brother. Good. Let's take a look at the earnings plays. Well, we don't have any earnings plays yet, really, but let's take a look and see what type of gappy gaps we got, and then kind of formulate a PR list too. So we already talked about QS. They just announced a deal with Volkswagen. That's looking pretty good. We want to try to hit this on dip. Now, look, if you read the PR, it's like a non-exclusive thing that doesn't even show how much money is involved. I don't know if it is just like a picture perfect setup, but it is the right market to try something like this, right? Now, you don't want to just buy this at the open, and you don't even, you got to let it set up because you never know. Sometimes these things fade off all the way too. So what you want to do is let this thing set up. So mark out your pre-market levels, right? First of all, right, mark out the pre-market high, and then mark out anywhere where you have a pre-market base. Then from there, right? Then from there, you got to do a couple things for me, right? What we need is some type of intraday setup, right? If we get a good intraday setup, then we can try this, right? And so mark out the levels. Frankly, you can do an ORB on something like this, right? ORB is, right, you're going to pop up minimum 3 sideways candles, and then you're going to take, the break of the range. So just a simple setup. You don't need to do too much more than that. CYN, SIN. So this one, look, guys, for those of you guys that are new, when you trade these pump and dump kind of small cap names, always look at the chart. If they've got these big reversal tails on it, see how this thing pops up and fades off, pops up and fades off, pops up and fades off, pops up and fades off. What do you think it's going to do to you today? Seriously, what's it going to do to you? Well, it's going to do a little bit of a pop and fade off, pop and fade off, pop and fade off also. So just kind of be mindful of that. This is not really, that's not a high level setup, right? When you're thinking about setups here, the degenerate lifestyle has limits to it. VLCN, hey, so this one ripped open to 14 and then faded all the way off and then popped up, faded off. So look, it's gapping up today. It's going to probably have some range, but the big hairy Indian butt of this is what? The way it faded off just here the other day, this is probably the sucker's gap, right? And so ATRs right here, Samurai, so I use 3 ATRs. I use a ATR. So for example, say you're looking at Tesla. Therethere's 3 ATRs you use. ATR per 5 minute. ATR per 5 minute does a couple things. Well, number one, so when you're day trading, if how much a stock can move when you get into it, right? Like, hey, especially when your hold times are short, but also it helps you for figuring out how tight to keep your stop losses. For example, if you have an ATR of 81 cents per 5 minute and you used a 30 cent stop loss, you're probably going to get stopped out no matter what, right? because you're not even covering that ATR. So the intraday candle fluctuation will probably stop you out. Hence why anytime, right, if you use like a 50-cent stop on the Tesla or something like that, right, you just get nailed out. Then you use the ATR on the dollar basis, right? So that you know, like, okay, I bought the dip on a stock, how much it could run to by the end of the day before I got to start really getting worried that, I'm extended. And then you do ATR percentage, so you can just quickly look and see like how much the stock's going to move every day. So those are the kind of three main ones. And there's a whole host of other ATRs you can use too. Yo, this zap is done for, right? Like you can see it just after that big ramp, they zonked it out. It's probably done so. Nova, this we already have on the list. Liking the overall look of this, liking the overall thinking of getting some solar exposure if the IWM holds, and it does look like it is holding. So if the IWM holds, right? And when I say hold, like, even if it came back to 206 or something like that, it'd be a win, right? If the IWM holds, we want to be in this Nova folks show. Redfin. Now, you know what, Birdman, we forgot about this one. I am a fan. I think if the interest rate sensitive stocks run today, we want to get our hands on not just solar, but some real estate stuff. Out of the real estate stuff, there's all sorts of turdy McGee's out there. What are they? Compass, right? Redfin, and Open, right? Those are the two biggest kind of turd real estate stocks that are still tradable. And so if you look here, like this is, you've got yourself a level right here on a bigger term basis. And now look, this kind of trend line is usually bullshit. It's just something that people draw to make themselves look smart on the tweeter. They really don't have any validity to it, but they are fucking cool to like draw, right? You're like, big trend line break coming at, blah, blah, blah. But it is tightening up here. The key is like, okay, you are remounting over the 200-day moving average, and you do enough liquidity, 5-6 million shares a day. This is something we can be a part of. What was the other one? Open, right? Open's already done 1 million shares. You've got a little bit of a base off this 170. And look, if the IWM closes at highs, right? If the IWM closes at highs and this remounts to 50 EMA, like, look, it's been rejected here so many times. Look, rejection, 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 rejection. So if you can actually, and see how you have filled candles on these, right? So they actually closed under the 50 EMA. So if you get a close over the 50 EMA, this probably turns into a little bit of a swinger, and you got yourself a little hootenanny, Compass is also one. It trades a lot worse than the other two. But this is like kind of where we're going with this. You could look at Zillow. Now look at this thing. That ain't so bad. That ain't so bad right there. I would add this Zillow. I'd add this Zillow. You got 19 billion, so it's about a midi. It's not a small cap. It's a mid. Range break, real estate, IWM, but not too crazy. This fits the theme we're looking for, right? If we break through here, we're going to have something. So let's add this bad boy too. Woo! Let's add this bad boy too. It's looking nice. It's looking zesty. It's looking, woo-hoo-hoo. Let's add it. All right. Oh, yeah. Good. So that covers all the real estate ones. Look, don't forget UPST. We want to get a couple of these little fandazzles. We got solars. We got your classic mids. W tends to squeeze off too quite a bit. Has anybody got a short interest on W? Let me look this up here. Let me check on the old Benzinga. What's the short interest on? Hold on here. Let's take a look. Now we're doing anything for love, but I won't do that. All right, let's take a look at the short interest here. Boom, 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 boom. Of W. All right, it's old Wayfair here. All right, Wayfair, blah, blah, blah. Key data float 67. Short 20 million. Short percentage of float 30. This is a buenos. Look at this. Click this here. So you got settlement day, receipt date. So just about 2 weeks ago. So probably the short interest is still fairly valid. It's short interest data is always a couple weeks old, guys. So you got effective date 7/10, 30%. That's a lot. You know, its average volume is 3 million. So you got 6 days to cover, right? Days to cover just means you take the average volume, divide by the short interest. Let's add this W. Let's add this W to the watch list. Yeah, this is Benzinga Pro. They got a lot of features here. You know, some of them I use, some of them I don't. You can always look and see like what the analyst upgrades are. You know, they got news feeds, of course, and then you know, you can make watch lists. So, like for example, I have a news feed for just like stocks, like these big cap stocks and stuff like that. Things that I trade every day, right? Like Susquehanna. So I want to know, like, there's a handful of names we trade all the time: Taiwan Semiconductor, Tesla, AI, Amazon, you know, so on and so forth. And so AMD. And so I like, you know, I'll keep one watch list and one news feed of just my key names, just my key names. This will help you stay organized, because the worst thing you can do as a trader is, like, say you trade big caps, right? And then, like, you know, AMD has some big upgrade or something, and you don't see it because you're going through a news feed. You're going through a news feed that's got like 1,000 random tickers of just stuff, right? And so, like, you know, none of these stocks you probably ever trade, like Seed, MDLOZ. And so you get a news feed and then you're like, fuck, what do I do this? DDDC, CHK. I'm not going to do anything with these, right? And so you can kind of curate a watch list of names, you know. And so I have like a go-to stock list, you know, different watch lists. And then when I get the news, it'll just be for those too. So it just kind of helps. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. Heck yeah. Good. So add W, I think that's a good one too. So let's kind of repeat back onto this. You know, I'm looking today possibly for a fade in large caps if we need it. You know, frankly, I have a hard time believing the whole market fails and just the small caps goes up. So, you know, it may be a leave alone, but I'm thinking, you know, the easy fade is already over on QQQs. We'll see if this gets rugged right away or not. Keep an eye on this 50250. I'd set an alert here. If it gets under, I wouldn't, you know, try to step in front of a short, you know, unless it started to break, you know, some really key levels. You've got room down to here, right? And frankly, you probably need to come down even a little bit more on the QQQ. So just got to be mindful of those things. But the plan is, you know, if we get a nice dip on the IWM, we're going to try it along. We'll use some calls for tomorrow, and then we'll hit these IWM stocks. We've got QS here. It's looking zesty. We've got the Supernova, right, which is looking zesty. We got W with the 30% short interest, which is very buenos. We got KRE. Actually, I'm looking at this one for short. Don't worry about that. I want to hit FSLR. And then we got CVNA right here at 136. I got Zillow here at 49. Dude, Sam, I know you all these years. I'm not even going to try to answer that question for you. Why are you always so trying to fade everything? You said, I know what you're up to. Not only do you want to fade it, you're going to be like, can I swing these? I'm not going to answer that question because I know what you're going to try to do, and it's not going to work. I know you. I know how you work. I know not only do you want to fade these, you want to swing them. Okay, we're holding here at 7. Good. W. FSR. Don't forget UPST. Whoa. And don't forget Affirm. We add these on the first dips, guys. First dip, first pull. CVNA, Zillow. I just saved you $5,000, Samka, because I love you. Okay, so we got to get. Good. We got a list here. That's my list. I'm sticking to it. You could add in even something like an American superconductor corporation if you want to. All right, a Discord room, chat room. I'm hopping on Zoom right now. I'm sending a link. I love you guys. Trade well, trade fast. I'm hopping on a flight. I got to go to Michigan today. So a half day for me. I'll be out of here by noon. Let's go do the Lord's work in the devil's playground, baby. The Lord's work in the devil's playground. Let's get that music going.